For more on this story, we can bring in our correspondent Philip Crowther in Washington. Philip, the U.S. President Donald Trump has been speaking. Has he reacted to the latest aggression from North Korea?
Yes, he has, and it's a pretty muted response, in fact, by the US president, considering what kind of rhetoric he has used in the past when talking about North Korea. Here are the two only sentences, pretty much, we have from Donald Trump on this latest intercontinental ballistic missile test by North Korea. He says this: "We will take care of it," as a response to that test that happened around 3 hours ago now. And then he adds this: "This is a situation that we will handle." He was asked whether the United States' approach to North Korea would change. His response was a no. Also in the room, in the Roosevelt Room in the White House, was U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis. Now, he had a few more details on what kind of a launch this actually was, and mentioned this: "This is the highest intercontinental ballistic missile test from North Korea so far," and he defined it as a, quote, "worldwide threat."
Now, how provocative is this move from North Korea? Because just last week, the Trump administration declared Pyongyang a state sponsor of terror, didn't it?
Yeah, and this is not necessarily a direct response to that. The truth of the matter is that this might not be entirely symbolic timing by North Korea. This was a missile launch in the middle of the night, Pyongyang time. It was a long time since we had seen one of these, relatively speaking, that is. And yes, there was that designation by the U.S. Treasury Department of North Korea as a state sponsor of terrorism earlier this month. This is not necessarily a direct response to that. What this is, though, is an escalation of sorts because of the type of launch that this was. First of all, an intercontinental ballistic missile. In other words, as the title suggests, it is supposed to go toward another continent. That could be the territory of the United States, the mainland, or a territory like Guam, for example. That is why this is taken so seriously, of course, by the United States. Then there are the words of Jim Mattis, the defense secretary, saying that this missile was launched higher than any other in the past by North Korea. The distance on the ground was around 1,000 kilometers. That is not necessarily more than in the past, but the height certainly is. This was a missile that landed in the economic exclusion zone of Japan. All of this according to the Pentagon here in Washington. That's why this is taken so seriously. This is a missile test that is more dangerous, according to the Pentagon, as any others that have happened before.
Philip, thank you very much for that update. Philip Crowther reporting there from Washington.